Aloha. Let's talk a little bit about Tableau and connecting up to different data sources that you may have. Um, so I'd like to focus in on three: Excel, text files, and then MySQL. Start off with the easiest one. Again, Excel. So what I've done is I've downloaded Superstore Excel file. And Superstore is, a data set that Tableau likes to use, for its demos and practice and that kind of stuff. So I downloaded the Excel file for that. Just a little word of advice that you may want to make sure that you check your data, and make sure it's in the format that you like. For example, these numbers are not, they're numbers over here, make sure that whatever columns that you're using, they're in fact numbers. Like these guys over here are general, right? So, just kind of be aware of that. Yeah. And let's go and talk a little bit about Excel. So I'm going to collect up with this Superstore Excel file. And when I connect up over there, and I'm going to bring in my orders tab because it has 3-tab: orders, returns, and users, right? So it brought them all over, and I have all my data over here. And you notice that there are some colors over here, right? So the hashtag means that it is generally it's a number file over here, yeah. So the hashtag over here. So even though the row is a numbers file over here, but it's not green. Greens are what we call measures, something that you might want to add, might want to do a formula for, might want to average, those kind of things over here. Strings, right? ABC columns, those are string columns. They're generally at a dimension. They call them a dimension. They're blue, yeah. So you see all these string columns over here. That's how Tableau automatically identifies that, yeah. Identifies that over there. Postal code, it knows. So even though, this is a global, data type, so, it has some, you can do maps on them and that kind of stuff, yeah. United States, another one over there. And, these are the icon for dates. Once again, the hashtags are, numbers. And if they're, if they're green over here, they're usually what is known as a measure. Okay. So when I click on sheet number 1 over here, I see that, on the top is the blues, right? These again are dimension. And then we have the greens that are measures. And measures again are something that you can aggregate. You can sum it up, you can add it, you can average it, those kinds of things, right? So, my measures over here, typically, again, look, it added it up over here. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and do an average on it. That's what you wanted to do. I'm going to stick with sum here, yeah. So, you can do that with, and in theory, you could do that with the zip codes, right? But, that's, the zip code is, the postal code is a dimension because that's usually how we use it, right? So a measure again is, usually something that you can add, subtract, multiply, divide, what have you, average, those kind of things, numbers. Measure, the dimensions over here are, usually add some granularity to your measures. So say, for example, I wanted to know, okay, this is profit. Okay, what profit category am I most proud? Well, our office supply is really good. Well, there's something also called a subcategory. So what that means is I can see within furniture, office supply, and technology, what's really making me money. So I'm going to take a look at that guy over there. And within office supplies, which is the most profitable, binders. Wow, binders really doing good over here. Tables and the furniture is not doing good at all. technology. Now I'm going to kind of take a look at that again. Again, office supplies, most profitable. But then the categories over here, within that, I can see what really is making me money. For whatever reason, even the furniture is profitable, tables is not. And even, technology, everything looks profitable. Nothing's losing me money. So that's really good. So, again, a dimension adds granularity to your number. And if it's not profit that maybe you want to do sales, right? You want to say sales. So you say, okay, well, the sales of techno office machines really money-wise, I guess, is really doing me really great, right? And if you don't want something, you can just kind of click it up like this, click it off, you can do that, right? So again, you can do that. Now, in theory, say, for example, here, if I did postal codes, it would list me all my postal codes. Now, you said, oh, well, I want to play with this. I want to convert this to a measure, to a number, right? Because, postal codes are all numbers, right? And in theory, you could add them up. I don't know what you use that for, but you could. So, here, you could add up all the postal codes in the country, it comes up to 10 million something, whatever. And if you wanted to add some granularity, so you say, I want to know by state, which one is due. Oh, California has the highest number. Well, that's because all the zip codes that start in California is 9, right? And there's a lot of them, right? So, those kind of things. Whereas, some of the guys on the East Coast, they start with 0, right? So, it's really up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and take my postal code and I'm going to convert it back to a dimension, because that's usually how we use it, right? That's usually how we use it. But anyway, the blues again are dimensions. The greens are measures. They're usually numbers that we use to sum, average, min, max, those kind of things. And dimensions are descriptive, right? Has usually a lot of string data and the like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this over here, and let's go back home, and let's go and do a text file. Now, here's the problem with the CSV file over here. The CSV file only brought with it one tab, and when I saved that over here, when I saved it as a CSV file over here, where's my CSV file? It only came with one tab. It only came with one tab over here. See Superstore over here. So, that's one of the drawbacks over there when you kind of save it that way. And, with a CSV file, one kind of thing. So again, here I have my Superstore. Now I'm going to go and save as to my desktop. I'm going to save it as Dale. Now I'm going to show you that. Just going to save it as Dale, all right? And then when I save it over here again, right here, like this, but let's go ahead and open up Dale. Let's go look at Dale. Oh, sorry. I said I wanted to save Dale as a CSV file, sorry. So CSV file, save, comma separated value to my desktop. And again, I got 3 tabs over here as an Excel file, but as a CSV file, only got 1. So this is really a drawback. Yeah. Now, you have to watch out in both. CSV files as well as Excel files. So, say for example here the shipping inside of Tableau, I have it, right? I have it. I have the shipping cost over here, shipping cost, whatever. I can go ahead and do that over there. If I look at the data itself, the shipping cost, where's my shipping cost? Way down here. Shipping cost, see? So the first row is 93 cents and $7.29. Now, watch what happens if I play with it. I'm going to just kind of, since I'm working with the CSV file, watch what happens when I play with it. Here is 93 cents by, I'm just going to throw in a letter E inside there. I'm just going to throw in the letter D inside there, just to kind of prove a point. Now, when I come in and I save, and then I go ahead and close my connection and bring it back up, close the data source over here, and then I'm going to come back home and I'm going to do the same thing, Dale, CSV, and then I'm going to look at my data and then look, there's something wrong with the shipping cost. No. That's because, he looks at it, it's still it's still a measure, right? It's still a measure, it's green still, but unfortunately, a couple of pieces of data inside there have been ruined. So, you might want to make sure that you have all your data is clean. So before you bring it into Excel. Okay. So now we go to the hard part, right? Now we come to the hard part over here. Close everything over here, and then I'm going to close this guy here. Close this data source as well. So I'll come back home, and now I come over here. What am I doing? Look at my mail. Okay, well, I want to come over here, and I'm going to go and try to do a MySQL. Now, when you do MySQL, it always says to download a driver first. So, you have to click on this guy over there, and then it's going to tell you to go to the MySQL site, and you look for your version of whatever you're using. Like here's Windows, you got a Mac, Linux, whatever you're using. And then you have to go and download the version that you want, a Microsoft software installer. I'm going to click here, and this is the one I downloaded. And then I have it on my desktop over here. Close this guy. Yeah, now I'm going to come in and I have this guy. So I have to go and double click on it, install it, accept this guy, typical, install, and then yes, and then install and finish. So, once that happens over there, and the first time you may have problems, let's go see. So you click here, it's going to give you a different message. Okay, so you sit down here like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and exit and then come back to my Tableau, bring it back up. Bring up my Tableau again. Yeah, bring my Tableau again, and then I don't want to update it this time. Now when I click on my MySQL, it gives me this one over here. Now it gives me a different box, right? So then you have to identify your server, which is here, and then inside your MySQL over here, you have to have, let's go to the localhost, right? PHP myadmin. So I got my amps running, right? Got my amps running. PHP myadmin. And then I'm going to come in over here and come in as root SQL. And then make sure you have a user. So I'm going to come in over here and I'm going to add a user account. I'm going to make a simple Dale. And then Dale again. Oh, sorry, password. 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 Give myself some rights. And then go. So you have to have a user. And of course, you have to have a database. So I'm going to go ahead back home over here and I'm going to import a database. But here's the problem, yeah. MySQL only has, it doesn't have an Excel file listed over here, right? It does have open document spreadsheet and a CSV if you want it. Now I did, I downloaded on my desktop over here a ODS, open document source, right? Open document format, yeah. So I have that over there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and find that guy, because that's one of the formats that it does like. I make sure I click on the first line over there, and that's column names, right? So because it has, now it's going to give us some problem. I'll show you why. So I'm going to click on go. and it's thinking over there. Oh, no problems. I guess it's okay. Okay, so usually if there's a problem, the problem is that your data type. So you got to make sure that your data types are, you have numbers over here. It'd be good to have these guys all be numbers over here, that kind of thing, right? So that's real important, as well as here. These guys, and I did change these guys to numbers earlier, so that was giving me a problem. Right, so just usually if there's a problem, it's like that. So now if I look at it, refresh, now I have this guy. And by the way, this is kind of not a good thing over here, but I ended the like this. I named the table as well as the database. So I'm gonna go and fix this. I'm gonna click on this guy over here, ODS. Click on operations, rename database to Superstore, and I'm gonna go. And then I'm gonna fix my table name over here. I'm gonna say, click here, and then I'm going to operations 2, and rename my table to super, right? Something simple, right? Keep it simple. Then I go. Yeah, so now I have a Superstore and S store, yeah? And I have my user. So you got to make sure you have a user, because that's all that's required. So my user Dale, password, Superstore store. Okay, so come back to Tableau. My server is localhost. My database, I'm going to call it Superstore. My username is Dale. My password is password. Right? No need to get SSL. Then I sign in. Now, when I sign in, then I have my data that came in at this. So now I'm connected over here. Okay, like this, right? So now I have all my data. And then I get my returns if I wanted to over here. So now, like that, good. Okay, good. This looks good. Order ID, good. Update now, then I have this, right? So again, when I click on my, it looks at it, brings in the data pretty much the same, right? Pretty much the same between measures and dimensions. Okay, so that's how you connect to 3 different things over here using, I'm going to close my data. Close, again, what we did was we connect Excel, text file, and MySQL. Okay.